All right, are you ready?
Yeah, I think so, man. Should I, how's my hair look? Should I wear a hat or something?
I don't think there's any reason to polish a turd.
Good point.
You are who you are.
Good point. Okay, so...
I say that with love.
I know, I understand, man. I take it with love.
All right, who are you?
Listen, my name's Kerry Byrne, and I'm going to tell you a little bit how I became a beer writer. And people, when you tell people you're a beer writer, they say, how do you get that job? The main thing is I have no marketable skills whatsoever. So after college, I needed something to do. They said, do what you love, and I loved beer. So I kind of got into the beer thing. It's kind of weird. I come from a long line of plumbers. My grandfather was a plumber. My dad's a plumber. My two older brothers are plumbers. And the plumbing gene skipped me, so I became like an international jet-setting beer writer, which would have been incongruous, you know, but it is what it is. And so just after college, I started writing about beer, and it kind of did real well at it. Ended up writing for people like Esquire, wrote a column for Penthouse, which I tell people I bought it only for the pictures. I started a beer column with the Boston Herald in 1998, which I think was the first big city newspaper in America that had a beer column. That was pretty cool, and I parlayed that into a food writing gig with the Herald, which is one of the things I do now. I'm one of the staff food writers there. And around the same time, I started a site called coldhardfootballfacts.com, which is the greatest sports website in the history of mankind. It's all about beer, food, and football, what we call the gridiron lifestyle of beer, food, and football. But it's also really fun, cool football analysis. And one of our partners, like Sports Illustrated, we ended up building partnerships with them. The guys from NFL Films are big fans. We really built that in kind of a little powerhouse sports entity. And I like to think I'm good at what I do. You know, when I was doing a lot of beer, you know, when that's all I did was beer writing. They do this award at the Great American Beer Festival each year, the North American Beer Writer of the Year, and I won that twice in a row. I kind of did really well at that. And then in the football thing, my website dominated the Pro Football Writing Awards this year, and I won individually 3 awards, which I was the only writer in the country to do that. And all with my, you know, my little kind of one-man website. And we're up against USA Today, Bloomberg, all the big news outlets, and we kind of beat them at their own game. Really.
Even the sports outlets too, right? Like ESPN and
yeah, no, they were all involved, and we did real well. And they announced that I was down to cover the Super Bowl this year. That was pretty cool. And so just, you know, we kind of do some really cool things. And I don't know, people say, how do you become a beer writer? I just started doing it, man, and it is what it is. And don't know what else to tell you about it. Really.
You seem like a lucky man. That's
very lucky,
that's
man.
a pretty good job.
Do you think? You know, I just kind of travel all over, man, visiting, you know, restaurants and breweries and things like that. I've probably been to Europe. I can't even count how many times. I was just there last week, actually, and I actually went to France. How about this? And I'm one of the only food writers in the world who loves beer more than wine. Because when you're a food writer, it's all about wine and food. But yeah, I'm a beer guy, man. Beer is so much more interesting. It's got more flavor, more variety to it, more style. There's more things you can do with food, with beer, than you can with wine. And so meanwhile, I'm in the French Alps last week, and while everyone's out drinking Beaujolais and all this really cool wine, we're in the Rhone Alps region. I found the only honky tonk in the town of Annecy. It's a place called the General Lee. It's really cool. And so I say, I got to go check out this place. And it's on Rue President Favre. Believe it or not, you know, like Brett Favre, the football player.
Spelled the same and everything?
It's the same, F-A-V-R-E. Apparently he was the president of France or something. Apparently it's a big, it's a common name in France, and nobody really has it in America except for Brett Favre. So
wow. Right
around the corner from Rue President Favre is the General Lee. This guy's got cold bud in the fridge. He's got country music on the radio. He's got Dixie flags in the place. You know, you can't even see that. You don't even see that in America. Confederate flags everywhere, the Declaration of Independence on the wall, and
get out of here.
Yeah, it was really cool, man. It's really cool.
People think the French don't like Americans.
I go there all the time, man. The French dig America, you know, and the only problem with France is they don't really have much good beer, which is why we're lucky to be here in the United States, where we have more good beer than, you know, we have so much beer variety in here. It's stunning. I love going to Germany. I've been to Germany more times than I can count. Wonderful beer, probably the best, most technically sound beer in the world. But you only get the beer that, you know, you go to Munich, you only get the beer they make there. You get Helles, you get Dunkel, you get Pilsner, you get wheat beer. And I love going there. I love going to Munich, one of my favorite cities. Been all over Bavaria, but you only get the beer they make there. You go to Belgium, you only get the Belgian beer. You come here to the United States, you get everything. We're just really blessed here, and so it's a great industry to cover. And yes, I'm the luckiest man alive, I think.
What are some of your favorites that you drink continuously or at least regularly here in America?
Whatever you put in front of me. You know? My favorite beer is free beer, as they say. Right now, you know, it's the 4th of July. We're smoking ribs. I'm drinking Budweiser, an all-American beer, which, you know, the beer snobs aren't into. And I know every beer out there, but you know, it's the 4th of July, and Budweiser's a really good, you know, summer beer, and people. Beer geeks kind of lament it as lawnmower beer is kind of the derogatory term they use for it. But you know, I've been out with the guys who make, you know, the brewers who make, you know, from Anheuser-Busch who make Budweiser, and they're total beer geeks too. You know, you sit there with a brewer from Budweiser. I was at an event in St. Louis with those guys a couple years ago, and they're like smelling their beer and checking the hops and checking the quality, and they're really into it. And kind of these beer geeks think these guys aren't into beer, that they're just kind of, you know, guys at a factory cranking out a product, but they really love their product. They're good at what they do. And but later on today, we're going to be drinking. Actually, I got something here, which I happen to be sitting in my case here. We're going to be drinking Dogfish Head 90-minute IPA, which is not only awesome beer, but a certain writer declared it perhaps the best IPA in America. And I wrote about them in
Who is that certain writer?
That would be me. But
Kerry J. Byrne.
But I wrote about them years ago, and right when they were kind of up and coming, and was ahead of the curve, declaring this one of the best breweries in the country, and it's just really taken off. Dogfish. I mean, there's so many great breweries here, but Dogfish is one of them. Stone. We're here in Boston. We got two of the biggest breweries in the country right here. Sam Adams is actually now the biggest American-owned brewery. It's headquartered here in Boston. Harpoon is the 10th biggest brewery in the country. There's a lot of, you know, just wherever you go in this country, there's a lot of great beer, and we're lucky, especially here in Boston.
It's fascinating the way that the craft beer industry took off, especially after after Sam Adams first got on the map.
I like to take credit for it myself, I think.
Do you think that you played a part?
I single-handedly kept the craft beer industry in business, man. That's my belief.
Well, you got your start writing about those, didn't you?
Yeah, right out of college, man. Just kind of, you know, it was when I got out. I was in college in like the late '80s, early '90s, and here in Boston. I went to Boston College, and it was right when like just all these breweries were opening. You know, Sam Adams opened in the mid '80s. Harpoon here in Boston opened in the mid '80s, and all of a sudden there were bars that had like 15 or 20 taps, which now seems like nothing, but 20 years ago that was a big deal. Like, wow, they have all this beer you never heard of. So I started kind of going to all these places and learning about it and studying, and that's how when I got to college and I said, oh, you know, what am I going to do with my life? I said, wow, I learned a lot about beer in college. So that's kind of how all that started. So
on the job training.
On the job training. So anyway, we're good. I gotta go take care of the ribs here, and we're gonna be back. I'm gonna talk about I believe my 10 favorite global beer drinking experiences. That's what we got next. So talk to you guys soon.